Good morning. Today is the day after the last video and I've got a long bike ride scheduled for this morning, so I'm just gonna load up some stuff. I have 2 bottles here with 2 scoops of G1M, and then we're gonna hit a run off of the long bike ride. So I'm tossing in my shoes here. Now we'll go grab my bike. I haven't biked since last Saturday, which I signed up for a spur of the moment Olympic distance triathlon. So that was a 25-mile ride. I think I averaged like 20 miles an hour for that, so nothing crazy. So today we're gonna go for a long ride. I almost forgot the most important part of a good ride. Some nice shades. So got the shades and we're off. All right, we got the bike out of the car here. Now I'm just gonna shake up my G1M and pour it into my bottle here for the bike. I've got 2 bottles, so one of them is gonna have to stay in the blender bottle, which is fine, but these soft flasks here are pretty nice because you can drink it a lot easier. And I do not have my helmet, so that's all right. We can rock with the hat, I suppose. I better not fall, though. That'd be pretty devastating. All right, besides our helmet, we are ready to go. So it looks like I'm biking in a backwards hat today, which isn't ideal, but should be enough to get the job done. Toss the shades on the back of the hat in case it gets sunny. There's also some buggy areas where you'll get whacked in the face and eyes with bugs if you don't have a helmet on. So let's get after it. All right, I've decided we're gonna go 30 miles into the trail, flip around and go 30 back. So let's get rolling. One of my favorite parts about this trail here is we have the bridge over the water. So every time you ride the trail, I think this is about 12 miles in, you have to walk your bike across this. And every time I'm here, I'll kind of pan around, but it just feels like one of those magical forests you read about in like a kid's book when you're driving through just a narrow path in the middle of the woods. So super blessed and grateful to have such a nice trail close to my house. Makes training a heck of a lot more enjoyable than sitting on a trainer for 3 hours a day. All right, we have a little change in plans here. As I was crossing the bridge, I noticed that I lost my rear water bottle, and being that this path is kind of in the middle of the woods with not any gas stations or anything around, If I pushed through another 2 hours without any fuel, I'd bonk pretty soon. So I'm backtracking now. We're heading back towards where I took off, and we're gonna try to find my water bottle and then get back on the trail. So hopefully we can find it. Look what I found here. Bottle intact, so we'll toss that in the front here and keep going. All right, so we backtracked there for about 4 miles, found the water bottle, and now we're heading in our original direction. So we'll get to 30, probably about 35 actually, because we flipped around. 35, we'll check in there and then we'll flip around and head home.
Well, hey, little Hollywood, you're gone, but you're not forgot. You got the cash, but your credit's no good. You flipped the script and you shot the plot. And I remember when your neon used to burn so bright and pink. The Saturday night kind of pink. With a blacklist and its host.
All right, just hit 35 miles, so we're spinning back. Should be about 25 left. The sun is shining here on a beautiful day. No place I'd rather be than on the trail getting some sunlight, so let's finish her off here.
We're going California, but we're all out of work. I guess that's better than a grave and a hearse. So whoa, whoa. Hey, little Hollywood.
All right, we made it to the bridge on our way back here. I think we are about 38 miles in, so that gives us about 12 left to finish the ride out. Feeling pretty strong right now. Big uphill coming here. As you can see, this bridge is kind of at the bottom of a valley, so we'll have some climbing in the second half, but we'll get her done and I'll see you back at the car.
But you're not forgot. You got the cash, but your credit's no good. You flipped the script and you shot the plot. And I remember when your neon used to burn so bright and pink. Saturday night.
60 miles done. Let's check out the stats here. Let's see what we got. Let's put in the shade. 60 miles. Average speed 17.9, not too bad. And how long did it take us? 141, I'll take that. Boom. Alright, now I'm hungry, so I'm gonna head home, get a meal in me, and then I'll meet up with you guys there. I forgot to toss it in the video, but at this point in the video, I finished my bike at around 1:30 p.m. and my local gym was closing at 3, so I quickly went home, changed, and got to the gym, moving my run to later tonight, which I just finished right now. Just went home, ate. My little sister made some puppy chow. Shout out Jules, that shit was fire. Now I'm headed to the gym with Jack, who needs to toss his seatbelt on because this thing's ringing at me here, but we're gonna hit a little chest and abs and catch a nice little pump. Cue the run.
Hey, smoke, yeah, smoke, I want smoke. Hey, join it. Who want smoke? Give me the blunt, I'm ready to blaze a corpse. After the song is over, I never want to hear this debate no more. I ain't wanna do it, but somebody told me saying my name is war. I wanna know what drugs you taking and what do you take me for? Maybe you mad cause you ain't got buzz up in the UK no more. I heard your career just ain't what it was and you don't get paid no more. If you want a feature, nigga, just say it, but you gotta pay me for it. you, I don't want you ever saying my name anymore. I know you putting your flag all on your back, now you gotta carry it. If somebody holding it down, it shouldn't be you, it's time to be serious. I know you hate being home, you come to the States and try to be arrogant. I bet you sit in your room and secretly wish that you was American. As soon as I heard you.
Just wrapped up the family dinner. We took our pontoon to the golf course, had a nice little chicken salad. It's about 8:30 p.m. so we're gonna put down the 5 miles that I was supposed to do off the bike right now, and let's get rolling. We just finished up those 5 miles. Check out it's average heart rate 154, just under 45 minutes, 5 miles, boom. So as you can see, it's getting a little dark. I'm just gonna walk about 5 to 10 minutes just to flush some blood out of my legs. That usually helps my recovery quite a bit, as well as hopping in an Epsom tub when I get home. That's something that I've used for about a year now, and every night I soak in Epsom salt for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it makes my legs feel way more fresh the day after, especially because tomorrow I've got a 17-mile long run. Luckily it's at conversational pace, so I won't have to push it too hard, but my legs are definitely a little chopped up after the bike and run today. So I'm gonna finish my walk as the sun goes down in Minnesota and get some food in me and take a bath. So, all right, I just wanted to end this video off with a quote that seems fitting that I listened to in a podcast about 6 months ago. I'll toss a quote up on the screen here, but it says, "I'm astounded by how many people want to be spectacular in life, but also want to be cool and normal. By being normal, you are, by definition, regressing to the mean. Ordinary people get ordinary results. Extraordinary people get extraordinary results." As I listened to this quote, it hit me right in the face, because my first few years of school, I was following the crowd, doing the normal college activities that everyone tells you will bring you the most joy and happiness and the best 4 years of your life. But after doing those for a while, I found myself aiming to please others versus aiming to achieve my own goals that I've set out for myself. From the time I was a young kid, I wanted to live an extraordinary life, but as I came to my college years, it's fun to fit in with everyone else. There's a lot of cool, fun activities on the weekend. Just you cannot be both normal and extraordinary. You have to pick one or the other. And I found myself in a limo for quite a while, where I'd train hard during the weeks and then let loose on the weekends. But I came to learn that all the work I'd put in during the week would get totally washed away on the weekends, and you get to a point where you have two roads to go down and you have to pick one. And about a year ago, I decided to pick the extraordinary route and pursue my fitness. I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are like you or better. I had a quote that was given to me a year or so ago from one of my friends named Charlie, and he told me it's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And at the time, I kind of took it as face value, but now, looking back, I'd way rather have 4 or 5 guys who would die in war for me than 50 people who love to have fun with me on the weekends. And in order to attract people who are like yourself or better, you have to be putting in the work yourself. That brings me to another quote which says, "Your words reflect who you want to be, and your actions reflect who you are." I know a lot of people who talk about all the great things that they want to accomplish and how they just need to get through this episode of their life and then they can start accomplishing those things. But in reality, the world's not going to form a perfect time segment for you to attack your goals. Something else that is super beneficial is maybe you find yourself where I was before I started my fitness journey, just wanting to pursue something extraordinary, but you aren't there yet. And that's the hard part, because you know who you are in that space, but you have to envision and create this false version of yourself who is that man later down the road. And by constantly telling yourself and showing yourself, maybe like every night, that this is who you're becoming, you just have to manifest it into reality. And if you tell yourself a lie or a fallacy or manifestation so many times, you will start to believe it and become it. So as you pursue something extraordinary and you follow the path that I was on, where you are at the mean, you are normal, and you try to become something exceptional, there are going to be a lot of people who challenge you and make you second guess yourself and second guess if you really want what you are pursuing. And I think it's important to remember this quote also from Chris Williamson, which states, "If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. There is no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who do not have the life that you want. It's just going to be a waste of time."